Welcome everyone, my name is WarpedEdge. Some of you may know me from the Discord community or from playing the mod I worked on for Final Fantasy IX, which was the second iteration of Playable Character Pack, and also my work in progress mod, Character Pack FF7, which is a mod that adds Final Fantasy VII characters into Final Fantasy IX. Today I wanted to reveal a project I have been working on in secret for months and wanted to give something to the modding community for them to come together and enjoy. That is Final Fantasy IX ModHub, or FF9 ModHub. A website I created that puts everything into one place, allowing ease of access to anyone interested in what mods are available, when was the latest Memoria release, etc. I just wanted to make this video as a walkthrough of sorts, quickly going over every section of the website for people who'd like to know more about it and what it can do. I will include chapters in the video for any section, so if anyone is wanting to skip to a particular part of that video, they can. When first heading to ff9modhub.dev, you'll be greeted with a hopefully nostalgic little screen here that kind of reminds you of the party menu within Final Fantasy IX itself. I try to make it as faithful to the actual game itself. Again, all assets that are related to Square Enix are owned. This is just a unofficial fan-made site, so I have no affiliation with Square Enix. It's just, and this site does not accept any donations or any other monetary support. Just get that out there. This is just a fun project that I wanted to put out, and for the community itself, just fan-driven. So with that being said, the first part of the home layout you'll see here is just a welcome message and what the current layout offers, as well as if you have any feedback, questions, or anything you'd like to ask me, you can just send me a message on Discord, whether it's private or you want to ping me on one of the DMs, or sorry, one of the Discord servers, you can. There are both links are right here embedded into the website itself. Both Moogles and Mods, the Pseudomods community is both a wonderful place for any type of community-driven Final Fantasy IX conversations, whether it's modded or non-modded. Next, we see the Memoria section. This is just pulling the latest version that is from Memoria on their GitHub page. This is right now being the July release. There's links to the repo, to their GitHub, and then also to the GitHub, but to download directly so you can just easily get to the latest release once it's available, and then download the latest Memoria patcher. The site menu on the right side, or a command menu, you'll see here, has all the different options within the website to go through. We'll be saving the tools for last because that has sections within it, and we'll be going over config next. So for the media player, now I haven't made any changes, but if I refresh the page here, and if I make any interaction on the website, because everything's set to its default settings, it'll start playing the music automatically. Here you're able to go through, back, forth, any of the songs that you would like and play. You can loop through them, you can shuffle. So if you put the shuffle on, you can go through. So with that being said, that's the media player. With the mod gallery, the carousel that you see here, these are all the mods that are currently available in the mod catalog itself. Not all mods available, because there are mods and Nexus mods and stuff, but these are the ones specifically you can get from the mod catalog, from the mod launcher itself. If you notice that when I refresh the page here, the very first mods that appear are the mods that were most recently updated or released. You can see the tags of the author, category, version, updated time, and everything. The little new tag is only for mods that are less than 30 days old. Once they have gotten older than 30 days, you'll see the tag disappear. So that is the carousel, and it goes through all the different mods, everything, images that people have had, everything is in here. So that'll be it for the homepage, and next we'll go into the config menu. Okay, here in the config menu, you should see there are a lot of options here, from the music volume, autoplay, starting song. I'm just going to go through quickly of what each one can just do. So first off, if I'm playing a song here, you can see if of course I can increase the volume, and it does get louder. I can also turn off the autoplay, so whenever I refresh the page and click, it is not going to autoplay every time I visit the site and do something. On top of that, you can also change the starting song. So any of the songs that you'd like to listen to, like if you have a favorite, you can apply that. So every time you refresh the page, it will be that song. All right, and other than that, you can change also the background theme and the color. I'm going to stress that you can do both in combinations. So even if I like the original background theme, but just wanted to change it, you can change it to how you like in real time, see what you like, whichever you like. You can also change the background theme. I have a couple different options inside of here that if you have, whichever you feel like you'd like to use. For now, I'll use the 25th anniversary. And you can also, again, change the color of it. So if you wanted to give it kind of a, black and white like kind of vibe, you can. You can change the card themes to also classic, transparent. So I made a 25th anniversary one for it, and all the different gradients. So for now, I use semi-transparent so you can kind of see through. And if you like the old color, there you go. You're able to kind of customize also the color itself of the cards. So same difference. You can color it all like you want, however you like. And if you choose different themes, they'll also get those change in colors. Whatever you decide that you like to have. Set up the background and set up everything that you like your way. And these all these settings do get saved as basically cached. So as long as you're not deleting your cookies or anything like that, it'll retain your settings. I am looking into a way of either doing a simple sign-in method or a way of logging in through Discord to just have a profile-based settings. On top of that, in case the font has been hard to read throughout this, you can also change the font style. So here, for example, a good recommended one for people who are having trouble that I had looking at the website, there is a mix of the Dissidia style font with the Segoe or your system font style. So if case this makes it much easier to read, you're able to change the font style you want. If it's also the font color you want to change, you can change both the font color itself as well as its glow. In case you want it to, in case it makes it ineligible. I got that one real bad. On top of that, you can also change the font scale of multiple sections. So in case something is really hard to read, you can apply all those different sections to them in case just certain sections are just more difficult for you to read. So if I changed everything here, you could see how all the fonts change, everything's showing up for you. So I'm going to go ahead and set that back to its original. You can also set the resolution, which this is just meant for trying to get the resolution set for different kinds of monitors. Because right now I'm using viewport. If you notice, you can't actually use the zoom in option. It doesn't work because I had a lot of difficulties coding that properly with all different monitors in mind. So that kind of settles it for the config menu. Oh, and of course, if you want to just go back to the default, you can just reset all your preferences back. So everything goes back to normal. All right. All right, on this next section here, we're going to be going through the mod section. Now this is essentially kind of like how the carousel had, except it's going to have all the different mods that you can find. You can search the mods themselves. You can see there are the 66 mods. You're able to search mods that you like, or like say, there's a couple mods with trance in them, right? So there's trance seek and ferny trance tweaks. You can drop these down, read the description of the mod, basically their recent past patch notes, all that information. Yeah, it's a lot to scroll down for certain mods, but I mean, if you're trying to read about it, this is a nice and quick way to do so. You can also sort them by their version, category, author, anything you want. Right now, it's already auto sorting by the last updated. So whenever I click here, you see how it has the same basically order as the carousel did during the refresh. You can also filter mods if you wanted to look at a particular person's mods. For example, if you were looking at all of Fernie's mods, you can just type in author : Fern, and you see the different mods that he has. There is also a section here to expand or collapse all. You could, if you just want to be able to go through, or you can collapse. These are also saved through your settings. So if I was to expand them and then refresh, they stay expanded. The direct download links right here are meant for any of the all the mods have a download link to them attached from the mod catalog. That is where it basically, that's where these direct downloads are even from. However, some people have reported issues sometimes with the mod catalog and sometimes just want another way of downloading it and adding it to their game. Well, these will be clickable so you can actually download the mod directly. Ones that do not have it for certain reasons because they require a different setup or they're pointing to a different location to get it. For example, VV's randomizer tells you to go to Nexus Mods to get it because it requires a specific setup that right now the mod catalog cannot handle. So that's why there's some mods that are like that. That is essentially everything for the mod section already. Again, just a very quick and simple one to find what is coming out, what version is, and when they were last updated. Next, we're going to be going through is the resources. Okay, next is the resources section. Right here, we have our video guides, our written guides, and our FAQ and troubleshooting. Right now, of course, the video guides is kind of bare minimum. It's just my first tutorial I made, very long, but you can watch it within here or of course go to YouTube and watch it itself for the character model importing. There will be added videos, including this one, to it. And of course, if anybody has videos or gives me videos to add to the site, I can. I just don't know, where all those are. There are not really many tutorial videos for modding Final Fantasy IX, mainly written documents, as you can see here. The first written guide that we have here is under my own repo. These are on GitHub itself, my documents, and then of course Fernie First, who's also the one behind all Fernie Fantasy. And basically, these are basically direct links straight to those wiki documents. So you can click onto it and it brings you straight to the webpage itself with its instructions. Same with the ones for Memoria. These are the Memoria wikis, so there are a lot. And let's say you are trying to figure out something about abilities. If you were to type in the word abilities, you see it filters all the options that you have right now. These are the only two that have abilities in them. But let's say you wanted to find, well, what about the word ability inside of the basically the documents itself? Well, when you do that, you can actually check the content search. It'll look inside of those documents and find the word for you. So that means every single one of these documents appearing means it has that word ability. So if I went to icon sprites and typed in ability, there it is. So just as a quick example of the content search there. So again, all those little documents, it does fetch these automatically. So these automatically do get updated. Next is the FAQ troubleshooting. So how do you install it in Memoria? How do you install a mod? Basically everything, both for Windows users and I put it in for Linux users. I myself I'm also a Linux user. This works for regular Linux devices and Steam Deck. Troubleshooting. So when there are certain troubleshooting issues, these are basically going to have some, hopefully going to have answers, or there's going to be links to related threads that are already added as issues to GitHub for Memoria, whether it be due to a release that has bugs in it, or maybe there will be an answer for it. These are also going to be, these are manually added by me, so I have to actually go through and make updates to these. So you may see these alternate around either with answers or being removed because it's no longer an issue anymore. But if you, again, just like anything, if you see, you can click over it, it'll bring you straight to the issue itself. Some of them may also have multiple issues attached to them, like these. So there are some answers to them, but they also have references. So these are all being updated, but the best way to get this as updated and accurate as possible is to work together as a community, and people who have good troubleshooting or FFED, like certain questions that are constantly being asked, they can easily provide them to me with the Q and the A, and then like provide me that, and I can add that straight to the website, no problem. That's what I would like to be able to do to keep this growing. Same for written guides and video guides. Again, all this to be as community driven as possible. So anybody who is looking to get into the Final Fantasy IX modding scene or having issues in general, they can come to this resources tab and hopefully solve their issue real quick. Next, we're going to go over is the Memoria section. All right, and here in the Memoria section itself, we have 3 sections: the latest release, what's just shipped, threads to watch, and open tracker. Essentially right now, if you see this live, everything is again live, but it is fetching from GitHub itself. So right here we have the latest release that came out in July with all of its information that you can go down and scroll through. You can also see all the people who are contributors, click on there and actually be able to see their profiles. As well as like if you want to see the complete change log or you want to view it on GitHub, again, you'll see it's the same exact thing. For the current open pull request, the PRs, basically right here we have the different PR numbers. Here you can see that right now we have DV who is working on a certain PR to add new abilities, what things he has completed, what things he is working on, what things he has to either put on the back burner or it's not possible. Like you see here, doesn't have enough time. All the things that he's preparing in for the next Memoria release. These are all things that people usually can see and anticipate, like what's going to be added to the next Memoria release and what they can look forward to. A lot of good features that he's been adding in, as well as the comments. As you can see here, you can see the comments behind them. So there's another PR for fixing our raw archives. You can see the comments, all the information, the new animation editing functionality. It even shows you the embedded videos that will play. Oh, it may look like it's pausing or freezing, but that's, is it kind of frozen here? There you go. And if you see it doing this, it's just because he's going frame by frame. So showing the difference, and then he's showing that here you can basically make changes now to the characters. So if you wanted to basically, let's say, increase the tail size at a certain frame and then move it. Oh, it is not liking right now as I'm recording this, but basically you can see the embedded videos. And then again, also the comments underneath them. So a very basically extensive piece here. Then next is the open tracker. So these are all the recent issues that have been added with their labels attached as well, that come directly from GitHub, and they are all auto fetch. So they are being updated automatically. So everything here you can see, I put in here that it supports the same exact search syntax as GitHub. So like the way that you would search these issues in GitHub are the same way. By default, it's always going to look for the open and the most recent issues. When you expand the thread, you can see exactly what issues have been added, all the information, who's responded, all that information. Oh, and if you want to go to the issue itself, you just, again, click on it. You go straight to it. And it brings you straight to those different issues. You can also, again, search for issues, whether they be open or closed. So if I like, oh, is it closed? There you go, closed. You can see it goes 20 at a time, and then you can go all the way down. So if you keep going down, you can go 20 per page, go to the next page, increase that, however you would like, and see all the information. But by default, of course, it is going to be back to open. All right, and other than that, we'll be going now into the big section of tools because it has subsections inside of there. Okay, now in the tools section here, you can see that we have a varying list of tools. You're gonna hear me say tools a lot here. Web tools and downloadable tools. Of course, the most popular one and the thing that basically no modding could exist without is Hades Workshop. That was done by Turletiti. Sorry, mispronunciation. That is a very hard name to say. He basically created this back in the PSX days and ported it over to Steam. And this is what allows everybody to mod basically everything in Final Fantasy IX, just about. There is a repo link for it. He does have a GitHub repo, which does have the code whenever he starts putting his commits through. His releases, however, he puts them all on a forum post called Quim. And I link it right here to the actual URL itself, download link, where he updates it. The same part that for that learn more brings you to the same exact page, basically, just to the top, explaining what the tool can do. So there's a lot of information on this tool and what it can do. Very, very, very powerful tool. And then you can download it and launch it. For people who are on Linux and decide they want to mod, this is not native Linux, but I did actually get it to set up, and it actually does run a lot better and much faster on Linux once you get it set up. So anybody who ends up having issues or wanting to do this on Linux, just send me a message and I'll be happy to walk them through getting it set up. Now we're going to start with a smaller tool, This is called the mod starter tool. So the mod starter, when it's like launch here, it is a mod generator. It starts the modding journey for whoever's trying to get into modding itself. So here, there's a typical setup for whenever you create a modded folder. Whenever you're trying to mod, you have to create certain files and basically a mod description XML if you want the mod launcher to pick up the mod itself. So you can see how it's structured and its layout, all the different options and what they apply to the mod or the submod. This is still where you're going to go to if you are trying to add extra pieces or if you don't know what certain fields mean on here. Now it doesn't have every field on here because again, it's supposed to be just the starter. And then of course, if you start making changes or adding more to it or more intricate things, then you can just refer to this page itself. Of course, if a lot of feedback people say like, oh, they know what they need to have, they just would like it to be, they don't like having to make it by hand if they can have a way to make it all at once. Again, that's where that feedback comes in. Just let me know that, hey, I wish it had this, or I wish it had that, something like that. And I will, again, look into adding all those features to them. So for now, I'm just gonna go through test, and I'm going to make a installation path called, actually I'll make it test mod because this is the display name, and then I'm gonna make this test mod without the spaces. We're gonna call this version 1.0. Author is WarpedEdge. Description is going to be my test mod. Here you can just choose any of the categories that have been commonly used. You can choose other or custom if you want to make your own, type in your own, but here's a lot of the already existing ones. So I'll just say quality of life. Priority is for how it would be ordered in the mod catalog itself, which again, you can find more about that. And also if you notice the asterisks are required, these are recommended to add. So if you don't have anything to add, you don't have to. I can put in the release date. Let's say today is the 19th. And then let's put this in as the original release date. So this, what these mean, and that's why I put these in parentheses, is this is the last updated. So typically this is meant for when your mod actually was going to be released. And then this is going to be the latest update. So like if you made a patch update to your mod, you're going to go ahead and put the next, that current date. So this will always say this is when it originally released. This is the latest update date. Then you have a couple more sections here. Add dictionary patch and add abilities features. These are usually when you're trying to create a type of feature within the game, with let's say changing a default character's name to something else, or ability features, which is like tuning abilities. So these will add the files into correct locations with some samples just showing you how it works. Also, if your mod wants to include a preview file for how it works, you can actually include preview files. I accidentally deleted the one from my downloads folder, so I can't show you at this moment, but basically whenever people click on the mod, it'll show that preview image for it. Lastly is the submod. You can also create multiple submods, so you can do multiple of them, but just quickly going through it, I'm just gonna make it submod test, and then first header, and just another test description. And it also can have its own preview, and if you wanna make it enabled by default. Here, you're going to go ahead and then after you have everything put in, you just click generate zip. After that, you'll see it'll add a file. I'm going to extract it. I'm going to extract it. And then you can see inside the folder, it already has the mod description, dictionary patch with its examples, and the ability features. And then this, the last thing, just to show you the final piece, I'm just going to put it real quick into the game folder itself. And then the last piece, this would be the last section for the mod starter, just to show you how it actually populates. So right here, you'll see test mod, the one I just added. Already gets recognized, already has its mod option, its header that we put in, and then the submod with its description. And that's it. That's how the mod starter works. And next we'll be going over is the Memoria Forge. All right, lastly is Memoria Forge. This is a tool that I created to basically help people with the ability features.txt battles SFXs, so like the player sequence.sequence files and the and C# scripts. Now, it's not some type of auto do this, do that, but what it is essentially, oh, well, if it didn't just bug out on me there, is essentially a modular tool is the best way I can say it. I try to create these into modes, and basically you can see here, it kind of cached my settings still here too. So you can change the color of everything into the Forge. So I'll reset it to show you what the resets look like, and also choose a reset here. So to get started, I always say it's best to, you don't have to, you could drop one file at a time to actually start working on these. It does need at least a file dropped in there of the type, but I do recommend just wherever your mod folder is in your base game is, you can set that. So for example, I'll be using Final Fantasy 9, and then where the mod folder is, which is here, test. So right here, I have the ability features creator. You'll see a couple different sections at the top here. You have the different mode that you will be on. So the ability features creator. This is to help people create those files. Like I said, there is an entry section, an editor section, and a template section. Each one of these modes, if you use Alt-M as a shortcut, has one of those sections. Oh, this layout was still configured. And right here, you can see they all have the same thing. So for the ability features, you can either just start creating one, and it looks at each individual entry, which is typically used by the greater than sign and whatever you're trying to do. Comment sections, this is good for people who like to make headers. So for example, I'm going to load a file in here that is, I believe, Fernie Fantasy. And you're going to see how they essentially, this is just loading the file, it just knows how to read it. So I basically had it come through and look for everything after, like basically every starting entry will use the greater than sign, and then any comment section that they finds with a bunch of comments, it's going to put it right above it, because typically people are putting those above the section they're talking about. You can preview what the file looks like this. So here you're able to see all the different entries that your file has. You can move things around, which moves it around in the file, by the way. So if I see the 15% is the highest one, but if I move this above it, it'll first off show that it's been changed. If I preview the file, you see now it shows a way above it because the comment section is for here. So you're able to edit. Any edits that you do make to it does show the little gold dot, letting you know which part of that file that you edited. Undo works as well, so Control Z. You can find certain pieces if you're trying to look for all the, instead of, you see there's global enemy and global, you can just type in global enemy and it'll find all the global enemies. And even though this one has it, it might be because it has a comment section inside of it. So can't catch everything, but because it's commented out underneath it. You are able to just kind of navigate and filter out what you need and be able to edit as much as you need for it. Now, when you save these files and click that save changes, it'll save directly to the file itself. So if I was to go ahead and make some changes here, I'll just put a bunch of S's and then click save. If I save that file, and if I go back into here, that ability features, you can see all those S's that got added. So that's how that it works. It basically writes right back to it. On top of that, we do have a file. Also, if you notice that whenever you do have changes, it does tell you which mode is basically been edited. So you can go to a different mode, which that pop-up is just letting you know that you have unsaved changes there. You can make a change here. And if there's no changes here, you can just change right back. But every time you move from a one that has changes, it's going to give you a pop-up. Now, you can turn off this pop-up if you don't like it because it's getting annoying. You can go into options. I have an autosave, a warn on switch, which is what you just saw, warn on deletes whenever you want to delete entries, and a C# autocomplete. So what that means is just it's able to see, basic C# syntax. But essentially you're able to do that. You can save one mode at a time, or you can save all modes. So And what it does is that it adds a file straight to the folder that I just created because you've already set the path. Now, if you see those messages pop up and they're kind of too fast for you to read, there is a notification section up here so you can see the most recent things that were made. You can clear that log. All right, now let's just go into another feature. All these, I'm not going to go into every single mode because they all kind of do the same thing, except for while ability features uses one file, the other ones will use a folder or just one sequence. So for example, if I want to load a specific folder right here, I can say I want to load all the scripts in here. And these are all the scripts that I copied and pasted over into here. Now, these will also have the same type of thing where if you make a adjustment or change, it'll give you a little dot. Oh, and I might have just broke it. Well, bugs happen, so that is something I will have to, of course, look into, but it's a start of just getting things working. So let me just go ahead and just try using the regular streaming assets then. Might have been something how I set up my folder. So it's just going to go into data and special effects. There we go. So now again, if I make any changes, click over into another one, make any changes, you can see how it changes the little dots there. But if I undo all the changes, it goes back to normal. And if I collapse a folder, the folder itself will show. So again, very just in depth with the tool, and you're able to search for, again, inside of the folders themselves. So if you're trying to look for fire, it'll pull up all the things that have the word fire in them or a certain animation. So again, it's a nice filter search throughout. Last thing I'm going to touch besides, of course, again, the color picker, the last thing I'm going to touch on within the editors itself is templates. So whenever you have something in here, so if I load that ability features again, you'll see that there are templates. I've already did a import of a certain template. I'll actually delete it to just show you. But if you delete this current template set, you're going to see there's a couple different templates that have a protected status. These are the templates that I'm automatically adding that I've grabbed from the various mods that are currently out. These are good for if you're trying to make your own, but you would like to, like, oh, I liked what Transseek did with this, or I liked what this mod did with this. You can basically go into it, you can right click here, add a entry right below if you want, and you can insert a template. Oops, I'm mistaking that for this. You don't need to actually add it, it'll add it automatically. Makes its own entry, exact same way. So you can make the changes how you'd like. So it's basically giving you an easy way of just finding how you got some setup, or if you really like how somebody already set up something, you can just copy that part. Now you can't make adjustments to these templates. However, if you go ahead and, let's say, want to make your own template, you can just go into Tools, Template, Create New Template Set. Let's say I'm just going to call it Test. And you can save now your own template. So if you liked what you had, you can save it as a template. Like this one, save it as template. You want to do multi-click selecting, you can save those all as templates. If you want to save all the entries, you can add all the entries as templates. And if you click it again, you'll notice that it says no new templates added because it will look for duplicates. So if I delete one template, it's going to only add the one missing one. Again, it won't let you add any duplicates. See? So there is deleting. You can also, if you don't like a template, like I said, you can right click and delete it, or you can delete template this way. And you can insert those templates, all the same thing. Now, if let's say you want to add a little bit more for the website specifically, descriptions. This adds a little metadata tag to it. So if you want to say, does good things, you can then just hit save, and it has a little meta tag. This won't show up when you export it or save the file. It only shows up within this is a template file, so it's only within the website. I do recommend, just in case your cache ever gets deleted, when you're done or you're done working on it, always go into here and do your tools, template, and export that file, because you can always re-import it. Speaking of which, if I wanted to make my own rendition of the playable character pack, which is protected here, you can go into tools, you can export that current template file. It'll put it as a JSON file, go back in, re-import that template file, and it will show you, again, imported as your own. So it's now you have it. Now it's that it's a user imported one. You're able to make adjustments to it and delete it. Though previously it wouldn't let you. Also, if you wanted to try, if you try to re-import it again, it'll just add another one. So every single time it has one of the same name, it will. And now you got a third one. So it just kind of keeps importing as you would like. And if you want to just kind of reset over, you can reset this layout. If you want to edit your layout, you can make things bigger, move things around. You want to drag this one up, have it there. Want to drag it down to the bottom, which you can zoom out, make it a little bit easier. You could just move it to the bottom there. So move it around as you'd like to see fit. Don't like everything, just reset it. Finish layout. Okay, so simple as that. You got the notifications, you got the clears. The help option is the last piece here. Keyboard shortcuts. And finally, documentation. So each section will link directly to the GitHub repository within Memoria for just the features that regarding those. And that essentially wraps up everything that is the Memoria Forge. Sorry that this was a long-winded one. Little error I ran into because of my test file, my test folder was being broken. And so there's going to be bugs. That's why feedback exists. But hopefully everybody enjoyed what they saw. And thank you for tuning in. All right, well, that was the FF9 ModHub dev site. Again, thank you guys for tuning into. If you watched the entire thing, I know there's some lengthy or long-winded pieces. I am very bad about that. However, again, any feedback is welcome, positive, negative. If you have a request for features or something that you'd like to see added to the website, of course, just again, reach out to me. But overall, hopefully that you guys will enjoy this little love letter I had for the FF9 itself. Again, WarpedEdge. So if you end up having any, again, feedback, please reach out to me. Have a wonderful day.